So can you all hear me? My voice is audible to all? Okay. Fine. So I'm extremely sorry that I'm a little late today. Since I'm not at my home right now, I'm outside somewhere. I have to manage a class from this place probably. Me good. What about you all? Not okay. So is there any other class going on apart from this one? Okay. Okay. I'll extend the class by further 7 to 8 minutes. So our today's topic is on organizational behavior and leadership, and the contents which we are covering in today's class is organizational change, concepts of change, forces of change, levels of change, types of change. So why change is required? Change is required for the betterment of anything. Whenever you have any new concepts, any new ideas, any new innovation which you want to implement in your organization, not in your organization, in your institute or in school, colleges, everywhere, in government offices, in corporates, whenever any new change is there, whenever any change is there for the betterment or enhancement of anything, changes are there. Because of that change, since people by nature are very rigid, they are not people, since it's their habit that they are not very flexible for change. So at times it is difficult to handle change. But since now we are living in an information age where technologies are keep on changing, so I mean to survive in today's market, you have to keep on updating yourself in each and every perspective. So that is our today's motto. So we'll see how much difficulty one faces in the change, how much one has to adapt according to the change. Okay, so this is our today's topic. Now let us start the slides one by one. So this is our lesson plan. We'll be seeing objectives of the change, introduction, concepts of organizational change, forces for change, levels of change, types of change, steps in manage change, resistance to change, implementing change successfully, methods of introducing change.
उनके में पूछे शायद आ गया होगा, कल उनकी मैसेज हो।
Okay. It's loading. It's taking a little time. So I think since it is taking a little bit time in loading, we can just shift to another PPT here. Then we can get back to this PPT once it is being uploaded. So change management. So this presentation is a collection of ideas, approaches, tips and resources for leaders at all levels leading and driving organizational change or transformation. So it lays out a clear roadmap for initiating, driving and achieving change. So I mean this particular slide focuses on ideas, approaches, tips and resources for leaders at all levels leading and driving organizational change or transformation. So any change which happens in the organization does not take place in one day. Once once the roadmap is being formed for the change which has to happen, and once the roadmap is there, I mean slowly step by step a plan is being laid down, and according to that plan changes are being made in the organization. So whenever any new entrepreneur or new motivated employee joins the organization, or new leader rather joins the organization, so he or she has the capability to make the drastic change in the organization for the betterment of the organization. So that is the aim for change management. I think just can you just hold for 30 seconds, because I'm going to another room, because here I think there is some internet issues, that's why slide is not loading. Yes. Sorry for the disturbance in between. So can you all hear me? Okay. So this is for all you people who have joined right now in the class. Just for those people, we are actually taking up a class on change management, and what we are basically looking in change management today is the organizational change, concept of change, forces of change, levels of change, and types of change. So these are the contents which we are covering in today's class. Moving ahead, now what is change? Our agendas for this class is what is change and why change is required, how can change be introduced and managed, what happens during change and what should be done, managing resistance and facilitating buy-in during organizational change, best practices and the don'ts of change management. Now what is change management? Change management is a structured approach to transitioning individuals, teams and organizations from a current state to a desired future state. So I mean presently we are standing somewhere. Now somebody came with certain idea, some innovative idea, and with a clear vision in mind, by following these and these steps, by investing such and such amount of money in the organization, by bringing in such resources, we can improve our present working condition or present scenario from one state to another state. So that is called as, that means from current state to the desired future state, that is the change management. Now what are the problems which will happen during the change management? Employee in the organization has to adapt themselves as per the change. They must, at times they must feel little bit, they will not feel that much, very much comfortable during the change period, because there are a lot of ups and downs, lot of mental exercises are involved, lot of employees participations are involved. So this is a human tendency that one does not want to get out of their comfort state. So that's why change management is not very much acceptable everywhere. But since times are changing, people are becoming more creative, more innovative, people are rather more enjoying their work in today's present scenario. So that means change management nowadays is not a very tough thing to happen, because if we take the example of say software development or any software technology. So for software technology, I mean, there are a lot of technologies keep on changing after every year or 2 years. So if one has to survive in today's IT market, so one has to keep on learning and keep on upgrading themselves as per the new technology available in the market. So that is basically the change management is. Now it is not the strongest species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the ones who are most responsive to change. Change your thoughts and you change your world. So that means if we see the positive aspect of the change, what happens if change is there? We are growing in every sector. Our thinkings are changing, our way of handling things are changing, our attitudes are changing, our body language is changing. We are putting in more hard work, we are becoming more techno savvy, we started more believing in teamwork, we started enjoying our work. So these are the things happening. Why? Because changes are there, because it's a human tendency that we want new things every day. We want to explore new and fresh things every day. Because if we keep on looking at one thing, we'll get bored. So to avoid bored, it's a human nature that every day we want new in eating also, new in exploring, going to new places, enjoying new Google apps or enjoying new mobile features. So everybody wants a change in life. Change happens for the betterment. Okay, is it clear to all? That is the basic concept of change. Now why change? Any change which happens in this world is for a purpose. Changes can be of many types. It's an environmental change, internal or external factors. I mean, these internal and external factors are, it's related to basically corporate, any changes that is happening in the corporate industry. So because of that corporate industry, changes are there, and changes can be internal or external. Then system change, process change, culture change, things could be better, mergers, acquisitions. I mean, these are the factors because of which changes are happening. Continuous improvement, takeover, competition, innovation, upgrades, new strategy, outsourcing, offshoring, economy, new technology, centralization and restructuring. Now these are the features of factors because of which changes occurs. So any of these features which are happening in any office, any organization, because of that change will happen, and change will always happen for good. Okay, is it clear to all? Any doubts, any questions? Okay, now moving ahead. Now few changes over the years. Now we are using cell phone. Previously we are using gramophone. This is called as gramophone. Now previously we are using this horse puller or pull cart. Now we are using a car. Now we are using MP3, MP4 players, laptops, music players. Before we are using a gramophones. Now we are using mobiles. Sorry, this is not a mobile, this is a cordless phone. Now we are using a mobile, previously we are using a cellular phones. So I mean, over the years, as things are changed, nature keeps on changing, knowledge keeps on improving, people's mentality are changing, scientists are becoming more and more creative, they are investing more and more time into the development of new things. Why? Because any new change, any new creative change in the world will bring a revolution into the world.
and because of that revolution, life of the people becomes easy. So we can say that changes happens for the betterment of the people, which finally makes their life easy. Now a change perspective. In 1990s view, implementing a change is equal to new tool set to support day-to-day operations is equal to a sprinkling of communications and a dab of training. So that is what is change means in the 1990s era. The definition of insanity is doing things the same way and expecting a different result. Now, in the 2000 plus era, how we see a change? Implementing a change is modified oblique new policies, modify oblique new processes, oblique practices, modify new technology, modified new organizations, people's roles is equal to significant change, therefore proactive organizations readiness. Now, since after 2000, before 2000 we are focusing more on tools. People are interested on researching on bringing in more new tools, more new technologies into the market. Now there are more technologies and more tools are present in the market. Now only modifying, just bringing a little change into the technologies, into the policies as per the requirement of the company, just making a simple or little bit change, we can bring in a change here in this particular thing. Now, like we say, like we are using a Siebel CRM software. Siebel is an Oracle product. So, Siebel CRM is a customer relationship management software which is used for maintaining customer relationship data. Now, this particular product, Siebel, which is of the Oracle company, this particular Siebel product is meant for different portfolios. This product is different. Say for insurance, this product is different. For marketing, this product is different. For financial aspects, this product is different. So for hospitality or for medicals, this product is different. So product is of the same company, but this product is made little bit different by the software engineers as per the requirement, as per the business requirement, or as per the portfolio requirement. So after 2000 plus era, we are not doing a very big change. We are just molding or adapting that software as per the requirement and the need. So that is the change perspective in 2000 plus era. Now changing process adapted from Kurt Lewin's model. Now unfreeze stability, unfreezing change, refreeze stability, undesired situation, and this is the desired situation. Now we are here presently and we are changing here. Here the things are stable and here the changes are being made. Because of that change, what will happen? There will be unpredictability, there will be no control, there can be confusion also, there can be loss attachment, there can be fear, there can be shock, anger, chaos. So these can happen. And since this is the state, when change means there are a lot of ups and downs are there. So since everybody's mind is not equal, so the change will happen good only if the leader is good. If the leader has a positive frame of mind, if the leader is a visionary, if the leader has a good experience, background experience, if the leader is positively motivated, because of that, whatever change will happen will finally reach to stability, which is the desired situation. But in between, there can be or there may be a chaos, unpredictability, no control, confusion. These states may be there or may not be there. So this is basically the change process. That means we are here, and after going through the change process, we reach the desired situation. So this is the change process. Clear to all? Any doubts? Okay. Now, by going through that change perspective or change curve, we are going through three things, three support spaces: information oblique communication, emotional support, guidance oblique direction. So personal and business performance, shock, denial, depression oblique anger, resignation, acceptance of oblique letting go, understanding oblique looking forward. So these are the stages through which we have to pass during the change curve. So there can be a state of shock also, there can be a state of denial, like people will say, oh, it will never happen, because because nobody wants the change, because why people not very much wants the change, because they are having a fear, they maybe become depressed, or their job will be taken off. So that, I mean, a lot of fear factors are there because of which people are resistant to change. But change is a natural phenomenon. Change will happen. So one has to cope up with the change, because change happens for the betterment of anything. Now 5 phases of change. Assess for change, conduct an assessment, pinpoint opportunities, then prepare for change, align change vision and strategy, clarify roles and prioritize action, establish measurement. Then phase 3, plan for change, develop an implementation plan, develop a communication plan. So phase 4 is the implement the change, take action and communicate, coach and facilitate for results, deal with gaps and resistance, recognize results, then sustain the change, integrate learning and results, conduct a closeout and evaluation. So I mean, when change has to happen, so we have to pass through different phases. I mean, different phases are there through which we have to pass for the happening of a change. One, we have to analyze the change or access the change, and we have to pinpoint the opportunities, that what exactly the change we are going to make in the organization. After that, once the opportunities are being pinpointed, then we will frame the strategies, how the things will going to work out. We have to decide the vision, and we have to prioritize action and clarify the roles during the change process. Then a plan is being laid down on a paper or on a computer or laptop, how plan will going to take place. Then one plan is being laid down, then that plan is being communicated to different members of the team who are being involved in the change process. Then finally the change happens, action is being taken here. For that, coach and facilitators are being appointed, different jobs, or the roles are being defined for everybody who is the part of the change management team. Also the gaps and resistance are also being analyzed. Then finally, once the change is there, so integrated learning and result, conduct a closeout and evaluation. Then finally it is being evaluated that such and such change is being made in the organization. We have carried out this much change successfully, and this much change is further need to be carried out, because nothing happens 100% clear in one go. Some aspects may or may not be left out, that must be taken consideration at the last. So only if change managers understand these phases of change, and only if they act accordingly, they will be able to successfully manage change processes without obliterating people's motivation and commitment. So these are the 5 phases of change. Okay, is it clear to all? Okay, I'll do one thing now. For you people, since you are a little bit bored now, I'll play one video for you. This video is on motivation. So can you all see this video?
CEO of a big company. David's company is growing fast,
Can you all see
very
this video?
fast. And to maintain a competitive edge in an era of hyper competition, David plans to introduce a change in the way he's doing business. Any good leader knows that the only thing that's constant is change. Changes both within and outside the organization. Mergers, acquisitions, adopting new practices, upgrading technology. All of these are inevitable. David's decided to implement ERP to manage critical functions like sales, finance, and human resources. But how are these changes going to affect the average employee? Someone like Sam, for instance. Meet Sam. Sam's an accountant. He's great with numbers. What he's not so great at is handling unpredictability. He's worried about how he will manage with the ERP system. Will he be trained properly and on time? Will the new system be launched at one go? Will the timeline of these changes be communicated to him? Sam's too anxious to focus on work. He misses deadlines. His customers are unhappy. He's so apprehensive and stressed that he quits. Now imagine the same situation with every employee of the organization. Not just Sam from accounts, but Bobby from sales and Ann from HR too. That's a lot of uncertain people stressing out about the ERP with no clear communication, worrying about changes that could have been handled better. Morale drops, attrition increases, deadlines are missed, quality falls, customers are complaining, the company suffers. Now you know why David's nervous. But what if there was another way? What if you could pick up the phone and call the specialist in managing organization change? Leading industry experts with the experience and the know-how to help ease your organization through difficult periods of transition. That's where we come in. We specialize in organizational change management. We can help assess exactly how to deal with any change in your organization, identify potential change barriers, and create a change roadmap. A change management strategy. A strategy that will ensure everyone affected by these changes are sufficiently engaged and their buy-in ensured. We'll manage key stakeholders at each step of the change journey, focus on people capability through training sessions, and ensure people alignment with the organization design. And what are the benefits for you? Increased productivity, project cost control, and greater competence, with better performance and happier customers. Now you, like David, can lead a company through ever-changing times. Change is constant, so let's change for the better, together.
Change is constant, so let's change for the better, together.
Okay. So what about the video? What can you make out from the video, all of you? Can anybody tell me what you make out from the video? Are you all there? Can you all hear me? Okay, Monachin says changes. What about others? So, yes, Manu is writing something. Just go ahead, Manu. Right. Okay, Prabhat says organization change in management. Okay. Okay, so this particular video will show you that if any change is being made in the organization, the peoples of the organization, whether they are from finance team, whether they are from HR team, whether they are from marketing team, they faces a lot of problems during the change. And this new concept, as you all know in that particular video, that there is a concept called ERP, that is Enterprise Resource Planning. So these Enterprise Resource Planning means integrating all the respective departments, whether it is IT, it is finance, it is HR, it is marketing. So integrating all the functions within the organization in a one system. So whenever since See, I am specialized. Say I am specialized in finance. Say Prabha is specialized in marketing. Say Monachan is specialized in HR. Say Rajiv is specialized in IT. Now we all four are from different departments. Now integrating all the system and bringing in the one new system. Since the new system is being launched, so we have to learn the new system. We have to know the functionality of the new systems. We must know how to technically operate the new system. For that, we have to adapt a change. Now, there are some people, they are specialized only in their own fields. Now, to learn the new things, it's very challenging at times. And basically, the people who are say 40, 45 plus years of age, so we'll find not most, but there are many people who are not very much adaptive to change, and they do not believe in learning new things. So for those people, these kind of ERP systems creates a lot of problems, as we have seen in this particular video right now. So for that, what happens is there is a guy who is specialized in change management and who has the title of OCM, that is the Operational Change Management. They are being hired by the company and they will help in getting the change done. They will help the team. ERP's long form provides enterprise resource planning. Enterprise resource planning. So the concept of ERP is integrating all the systems in the organization with one. So this is the concept of ERP basically. So operational change management guy is being hired in the organization who is responsible for all the change processes, and it's their responsibility and duty that they should communicate all the processes. They will explain all the new technologies, new processes to the new employees, to the employees in the organizations. So that's why to handle the change it's not very easy, because you have to mentally prepare yourself and you have to learn new things as well, so as to handle the change in the organization. But if we have to progress in today's world, if we have to move ahead in life, if we have to reach heights, we have to accept the change and we have to go ahead in the life and try to adopt the change in our life so as to sustain in the today's business market. So that is why, so basically the change management team will make your life easy when the change is being carried out in the organization. Who will think this? I mean, who? You are talking in respect to ERP? I mean the company who is okay. So yes, obviously the top management of the company who are sitting, since they are observing the market also, since they are also seeing the competition in the market, they are seeing the challenges which are being faced by their employees, I mean their internal employees within the organization. So from those perspectives, ERP is being implemented because ERP will make things easy. Okay. Now ERP product is of two companies. There are two companies which makes ERP systems. One is Oracle and one is SAP. So these are the two companies who creates the ERP systems. These are the two major players in the IT market. One is Oracle and another one is SAP. Yes, PeopleSoft is a part of a SAP. PeopleSoft, Rajiv, PeopleSoft is a product. I think it is a product of SAP. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Now facts about change. Different people react differently to change. Change often involves a loss and people go through the loss curve. Most change succeeds or fails on the cooperation of the people who must implement the change. Then the key question asked or unasked on everybody's mind about change is, what's in it for me? A few people and groups are almost always pivotal to a smooth and effective change implementation. Leadership is the key to successful change management. Then everyone has fundamental needs that have to be met. A clear plan of action is needed for each group or individual who needs to move up in their support level for the change in order to fail or succeed. Communication and support are key ingredients when implementing the change. So I mean, whenever any change happens in the organization, a roadmap has to be laid down, and that particular roadmap is being communicated by the top management to the middle management, and it's the responsibility of the middle management to further tell it to the lower management people. Because whenever any changes happens in an organization, so everybody, so as to avoid any kind of chaos, to avoid any kind of disturbances or confusion, that particular plan which is being laid out is to be communicated amongst all the employees within the organization, so that they can prepare their mind and they must be ready for change. Because once the new technologies come, or once the change will come, one has to go through rigorous training programs to learn that particular change. So the phase when new change is being implemented within the organization, so the middle phase, I mean, when you are at that point of time that you are also working on the old technology as well as you are also working on the new technology. So that middle phase is very challenging. When you are shifting from old to new, you must also know old one technology as well as you must also try to learn new technology as well. So I mean, hard work is required and you have to put in efforts to learn the new things. So that is why change is and that's why people react differently to change. Then moving ahead, questions to be asked before change. What do we need to achieve? Why we are going for change? These are the questions which comes into mind before implementing any new change in the organization. What do we need to achieve? Why we need to achieve? How we are going to achieve? When we are going to achieve? Who will be affected? How will they react? How do we support the people affected? How do we have the resources to manage the change? How do we communicate the change and facilitate buy-in? How we do we deal with resistance? What part of the change do we need help with? How do we know what success is and how is it going to be measured? After the change, then what will going to happen? So I mean, these are the factors which plays a, these are the factors, or rather these are the questions which comes in one's mind before the new technologies, before the change is being started within the organization. Okay, Prabha is asking, I need one case study on that. Okay, Prabha, I think I have one case study. With me, just a second. Yeah, I think I have also downloaded one. Yes, we have one case study, so we'll be seeing it. Not an issue. I think today we have a lot of slides on change management. So then introducing change, build trust, be open and honest, build a compelling logical case for organizations change, match actions and words, involve the people affected, communicate a sense of confidence, repeat your main messages. Then 8 steps to a successful change. Assemble the puzzle and walk your way through. Establish a sense of urgency, create a guide, coalition, develop a vision and strategy, communicate the change vision, empower broad-based action, generate short-term wins and consolidate gains and produce more change, anchor new approaches in the culture. So this is all about, we have to first make a plan why we are going for a change, what is the plan for the change, who are the people involved for the change, whether the organization is ready for the change, how change is going to be implemented, how how training programs for the new technologies or the change which has been implemented in the organization must be communicated to the older employees, how people will react to the change, how change will be successful or not. So these are some of the stages or steps involved while going through a change. I'll be skipping some of the slides because those are the repeat of the older ones. So I'll not be going through every slide because it almost means the same thing. So any doubts, any questions till now, anybody? Okay, just give me a minute. I am coming in a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay, now let us see the 10 steps how we can minimize the negativity and resistance which happens because of the change. Because most of the people in the organization, they are not ready for the change because their comfort position is being disturbed. So nobody wants a change. So what are the 10 steps to minimize negativity and resistance? Understand the psychology of organizational change. Think strategically and make your message clear. Listen. Build management, get the right message to the right audience. Communicate. Use the right communication channels. Use storytelling to paint a picture. Make it easy for managers to communicate effectively. Measure results and celebrate success. So these are the 10 steps to minimize negativity and resistance. Let's just skip this. It's loading, the slide is loading. I'll do one thing, I'll just shift from one slide to another because it is creating little bit problem today in slide loading. So I'm not at my home, I am taking class from my uncle's house. So net connectivity is not very good here. So tomorrow I'll be reaching at my home. So what I'll do is I'll shift from one slide to another so that it will help it will be easier for me to go ahead with the slides. Now let us see again the next. Now let us see the 6 change approaches. Number 1, education and communication. Where there is a lack of information or inaccurate information and analysis, one of the best ways to overcome resistance to change is to educate people about the change effort beforehand. Upfront communication and education helps employees see the logic in the change effort. This reduces unfounded and incorrect rumors concerning the effects of the change in the organization. Very good thing it has said. So if you want to avoid any kinds of negativity, or if you want to avoid any kind of resistance which is happening for the change which is going to happen in the organization, you must educate people, number one. You must also communicate to them that why you are getting this change, what are the benefits which will going to happen after the change. So to happen change successfully, so that there should not be any negativity, there should not be any resistance, you must properly educate the employees, and you must also communicate them upfront so as to avoid any kind of rumors or any kind of resistance which will going to happen. Yes, whatever slides I take up in the classes, what I do is I'll mail it to coordinator at lmsrc.com. I mail to these people all the slides which I used to take. Then participation and involvement. So where the initiators do not have all the information they need to design the change, and where others have considerable power to resist. When employees are involved in the change effort, they are more likely to buy into change rather than resist it. This approach is likely to lower resistance and those who merely accuracy to change. So I mean, when there is a participation of more and more people, when there is an involvement of more and more people, so there are less chances of having resistance. Then facilitation and support, where people are resisting change due to adjustment problems, managers can head off potential resistance by being supportive of employees during difficult times. Managerial support helps employees deal with fear and anxiety during a transition period. The basis of resistance to change is likely to be the perception that there is some form of detrimental effect occasioned by the change in the organization. This approach is concerned with provision of special training, counseling, time of work. So whenever any change happens, so it is the duty and responsibility of the managers that they should take their employees or take their subordinates or juniors into confidence, because that will help him coming out of that transition phase, because that transition phase brings in fear, brings in anxiety. So to come out of the transition phase, if there is a manager's support to the employees, it will help them in coming out of that, and because of that there will be a less chance of having any kind of resistance. So this is meant by facilitation and support. Then comes negotiation and agreement, where someone or some group may lose out in a change, and where that individual or group has considerable power to resist. Managers can combat resistance by offering incentives to employees not to resist change. This can be done by allowing change resistors to veto elements of change that are threatening, or change resistors can be offered incentives to leave the company through early buyouts or retirements in order to avoid having to experience the change effort. This approach will be appropriate where those resisting change are in a position of power. So what will happen is, it can also one of the way to avoid any kind of resistance, that company will increase your salary or give you some incentives or bonus. Once that things happens, that company will give you some incentives or bonus or something. So with that incentives or bonus, what you do is, with that particular incentives or bonus, I mean, you becomes little bit more comfortable with the company, because since they have paid you more money, so I mean you are having a soft corner for the company people. So you just helps them in the change to happen. So that is what is basically meant here in negotiation and agreement. Then manipulation and co-option, where other tactics will not work or are too expensive. Corsair and Shingle suggest that an effective manipulation technique is to co-opt with register. Co-option involves the patronizing gesture in bringing a person into a change management planning group for the sake of appearances rather than their substantive contribution. This often involves selecting leaders of the registers to participate in the change effort. These leaders can be given a symbolic role in decision making without threatening the change effort. Still, if these leaders feel they are being tricked, they are likely to push resistance even further than if they were never included in the change effort leadership. Now, this is also one of the ways to avoid any kind of change. What company or what top management of the organization will do, if they feel that these are the group of people who will going to resist for this particular change, what the company will do is, or what the top management or the policy makers will do is, they will call one fellow from that particular group of people who are their leaders, and those, who are the leaders for that particular group which is going to resist for the particular change, and that particular leader is being appointed certain role in the decision making process. Now, since a role is being appointed to that particular guy, so that particular guy will definitely tell their counterpart that, okay, this particular change is happening for this particular reason, so we must cooperate with the company people. So in this way also we can avoid the resistance to happen. Then is explicit and implicit coercion, where speed is essential and to be used only as last resort. Managers can explicitly or implicitly force employees into accepting change by making clear that resisting to change can lead to losing jobs, firing, transferring, or not promoting employees. So, this is also one of the ways, but this way is not followed anywhere as on date, because in this way managers used to threaten their employees that they must accept change, otherwise they will be fired from the job, or they will be transferred, or they will not be getting any kind of promotion or appraisal. So this is also one of the ways to resist, to change, so that the change can happen easily without any kind of resistance. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this slide also. I think not very much time is left, so we will do one thing. We'll just see one of the case study here which we have right now. We'll see one case study here, which is here. Okay, now this is a case study on Singapore Airlines. Now what case study will overview of the case study, relevance to change management. We'll see only the relevance to change management part in this particular case study. The case study is on Singapore Airlines. Okay, so Singapore Airlines is one of the best airline services provided in the world. The steady improvement of services, market research, training and development of employees, management strategy, consistent quality maintenance, continuous competitors, market research are the key factors behind the success of Singapore Airlines. Management always brings new strategies to improve the existing procedure to stay away from the market competitions by providing best quality services to the customers than other competitors. So management always respects suggestions of all level employees to improve the existing process. All the employees are rewarded by extra perks and are recognized by management due to their special works at the workplace. Management never compromises with the culture of the organization, increase the profitability of the organization. Organization is facing issues related to internal and external pressure, which sometimes force the management to go beyond the way defined by the organization. So, Singapore Airlines is having a strong management with innovative ideas and strategies. Now this is the particular diagnosis which happens. Now, for the change to happen, a conceptual approach and a process model is being followed first. So management always encourages the low group resources to come up with their ideas. A rotation policy is there inside Singapore Airlines management, where each manager used to rotate from one place to another and also from one department to another in every 5 years. Then video conferencing, emails, telephones, etc. basically reduce the rate of travel of business people from one place to another. Singapore Airlines started giving offers like frequent flight passengers, in which regularly flying passengers used to get points. Just a second. Yes. So Singapore Airlines started giving offers like frequent flight passengers, in which regularly flying passengers used to get points, and after certain points they used to get one free flight. So these are the offers which is being offered by the Singapore Airlines to the customers. So increased number of competitors, labor shortage in Singapore has become a major problem of Singapore Airlines. Cosmopolitan culture, changed lifestyle of young Singaporeans. Now Singapore Airlines recruit Singaporean girls as air hostess with their charming face and good hospitality ability. Air hostess give a warm welcome to the customers. When they serve a welcome drink to them and also provide them good lunch like a vegetable course or a non-vegetable course. The kids used to get toys, etc. Passengers of Singapore Airlines are allowed to do phone calls from the flight. Passengers get the facility of faxing documents. They can play videos, audios, or they can play games. They can also listen to songs. Then business passengers can access share market information and can do transaction on board. Then also, last but not the least, Singapore Airlines is also planning to provide the facility of email to the passengers while traveling. So these are the facilities and services which is being offered by the Singapore Airlines, so they can get more and more customers and they can finally increase their business. Also, these are the services which is being listed and which is being provided by the Singapore Airlines. Outstanding service on the ground is meant for the services provided by the ground staff. Singapore Airlines management focuses on the ground staff performances. Most of these employees from different agencies, like from Sia's direct competitors. Then Singapore Airlines management defines standards, provides special trainings to the ground staff. Then according to OSG, management ground staffs are free to take right decisions and at right time. Management can also encourage them to go way out of the normal procedure to help passengers. OSG has its own policies to motivate employees all the time to give their best for the customers. Also, the airlines is responsible for providing quality services. They must stay business strategies. Then at the beginnings of the business, this organization has not got any kind of financial help from the Singapore government. So I mean, these all are the points or the conceptual approach which is being already implemented in the organization. Now this is basically diagnosing the need. Now then comes the change process which needs to be happened. What is the change process? Necessary to meet the changing needs and requirements of the customers. Prepare some dynamic strategy for increasing the satisfaction level of the employees. Why change process is required? So as to give more and more better services to the airline customers. So as to increase more and more customers. So as to just to counter check whether the facilities which is being provided to the customers can also be improved in some way or not. So that is why the change process happens. Okay, Prabhai Singh, we have one more class. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll stop here because it's almost an hour now. So I'll be sharing this PPT, this case study also with that particular email ID which I have written over coordinator at LMSRC. This is the IMTS email ID. So you can just get this case study and all the PPTs which I have taken up in today's classes from coordinator at LMSRC.com. Okay, so you just go through the case study. And if you have any kind of issues, any doubts, we can take up in the next class probably. Okay? So thank you for all your time, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience which is being caused because of the slides not getting uploaded or any kind of problems. Okay? Thank you so much for your time. Take care. Bye bye. Good night to all. Just do give your feedback after the class.